Let me get this. Let me look at Floyd. Let me get Floyd.
You gotta calm down. Listen to me.
Hey, come on now.
Hungry, you know what I'm saying? But the thing I'm getting out of this, Roach took the fight. It gives him a chance to really.
Tank's corner was in complete disarray during his fight against Lamont Roach. Now, his trainer, CalvinFord, has revealed what led to all the confusion that night. According to Ford, Tank asked him to make a highly questionable decision in the middle of the fight. The situation was reminiscent of the chaos in Tyson Fury's corner during his first undisputed heavyweight championship clash with Oleksandr Usyk.
How to work, and he's a champion, What's the best for him? I'm hoping that he do what I need him to do, you know what I'm saying? You see how I asked him, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Because I need somebody that's...
In that fight, Tyson Fury stayed calm with his trainers, but his father, John Fury, caused chaos in the corner by constantly yelling over Andy Lee and Sugar Hill Stewart. As a result, Tyson misunderstood their instructions and ultimately lost the fight. Tank's situation was a bit different, though. This time, he was the one creating the chaos. The fight was unfolding in a way no one expected, as it looked like Tank would hear the final bell after 12 rounds for only the third time in his career.
I can see different levels. This time I had a chance to step back, and everybody keeps saying, they changing up stuff. No, we ain't changed up anything.
This was unusual, considering Tank is known for ending fights in the 7th, 8th, or 9th round. But this time, Lamont Roach was fighting back, and Tank wasn't in control. That set off alarms in his corner. As his team tried to guide him, Tank pushed back, raising his voice at CalvinFord and shouting, "Listen to me!" His team listened, but the outcome wasn't pretty, and it could get worse if his draw against Roach is overturned. Initially, his coaches stayed quiet when asked about Tank's outburst, saying everything would be handled. But now, with the result hanging in the balance, the situation has taken a different turn. Here's what's happening now.
Like punishment, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things gotta happen to make you get back to where you belongs at, you know what I'm saying? And that was a good...
It was supposed to be just another routine night for Tank and his team. From the moment his fight with Lamont Roach was announced, Team Davis never seemed worried. Roach was a familiar opponent with a solid record, and even though he held a title, he was seen as the smaller man.
Done 2 days before the fight.
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must say...
Seen as a big underdog, Roach fought like a man on a mission. He boxed brilliantly from the outside, and when Tank forced him to abandon the jab and fight on the inside, he held his ground without hesitation. By the final bell, fans at Brooklyn's Barclays Center stood in shock. They had just witnessed 36 minutes of non-stop action, but no one was sure who would get the win as the scores were being added up. Team Davis waited patiently, confident at first, but those early grins quickly faded when their man was handed a majority decision draw.
Skillful. Both of them want to take certain chances, some of them take chances, you know what I'm saying? We seen, it was like we was on a boat and it was...
For the first time in his pro career, Tank left the ring without an official win. Backstage, he slumped into his chair as his team, including Barry Hunter, shook their heads in disappointment. Hunter, who stepped into the lead role over CalvinFord, believed the judges got it wrong. From his perspective, Tank had a tough fight, there was no denying that, but he was certain that in the final rounds, Tank turned a close battle into a clear victory. "We give credit to the other side," Hunter told ESPN, "but I thought the last 2 rounds sealed the deal. I thought we won."
Well, both of us back today was that again. Nobody won. No.
On the other hand, many believe Tank should have lost the decision and that referee Steve Willis should have ruled a knockdown when he took a knee in the 9th round. One of the loudest critics has been former IBF, WBC, and WBO lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr., who has traded shots with Tank on social media. Speaking to Fight Hype after a workout for his upcoming March 22nd fight against Dud Yordan, Kambosos didn't hold back. "He just had a draw and lost a lot of stock," he said, wiping sweat from his face. What does he have to do? Rebuild his career. Since the fight with Roach, Tank has faced heavy criticism from nearly every corner of the boxing world.
What do you honestly think about this Davis versus Roach fight? Like, for you at 140, do you feel it's like you fighting a smaller guy at 130, 135? What's your thoughts on the move?
Both fighters have expressed interest in a rematch, while the New York State Athletic Commission is reviewing the controversial moment in the 9th round. The replay system failed that night, preventing Davis's gesture from being reviewed and potentially ruled a knockdown. Had that call been made, Roach would have won by majority decision, becoming a two-division world champion. Instead, Tank remains the champion and keeps his unbeaten record intact. The rivalry between Kambosos and Tank started on social media and is fueled by mutual disrespect. Tank doesn't seem to rate Kambosos as a fighter, while Kambosos criticizes the level of competition Tank has faced throughout his career.
Think of the dates, and against Lamont Roach, is it a big fight?
Well, I don't want to disrespect Lamont Roach. He's a very skilled fighter, super featherweight.
Throughout his career, Tank has relied on his athleticism, patience, and knockout power to dominate opponents. But on Saturday, he faced someone who wasn't intimidated and absorbed his shots without major trouble. While no one is doubting Tank's skills, it's clear there are certain areas where opponents can challenge the WBA champion. Before Roach's impressive performance, the only fighter to go the distance with Tank was Isaac Cruz. Now, all eyes are on Tank's next move to see if he's serious about a quick rematch. If the second fight happens, the question will be whether Roach fights with more confidence but less discipline. As for Tank, it remains to be seen if he can adjust and fight in a different style.
His own show, he runs his own race, and the fans, no matter what, the fans will see, obviously, what the fighter's doing. The fans see what's happening, and
Tank's ring IQ is often overlooked. He's known for taking his time in the early rounds, reading his opponents, and making adjustments. But against Roach, he never seemed to find his rhythm. After the fight, Roach had plenty of supporters. His friend, and Tank's rival, Shakur Stevenson, praised his performance and even offered to fight him next. While that matchup makes sense, the fight fans really want is a Davis versus Roach rematch, especially after Roach made people question whether Tank is truly unbeatable. Meanwhile, boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has weighed in on the New York State Athletic Commission's review of the controversial fight between Tank and Roach.
What are your thoughts on the draw and who you think won?
Do you know what? Honestly, I haven't watched the fight. We had a show that night. I haven't watched the full fight. One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight...
Hearn doesn't believe the New York State Athletic Commission will overturn the majority draw but expects a rematch to happen. Tank and Roach fought to a draw last Saturday at Barclays Center, but the controversy surrounding Tank's voluntary knee in the 9th round, where no knockdown was called, has led to an official review. According to Dan Raphael of Fight Freaks Unite, Roach's lawyer has filed an appeal to have the result changed to a win for Roach, either by decision, knockout, or disqualification. Hearn acknowledged the situation but told Fight Hype on Tuesday that he doesn't expect the commission to change the outcome.
To be honest with you, I think that's a warning. But it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight.
I don't think they will, Hearn said about the commission overturning the result. Can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't think they can. It's really up to the governing body. The WBA oversees the lightweight title, and while the commission can review the outcome, it doesn't have the authority to mandate a rematch. However, Hearn believes a second fight is inevitable. Everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway, he said. I think it's pretty much done. Hearn also weighed in on the 9th round controversy, stating that Tank's decision to take a knee should have been ruled a knockdown.
I feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Do you think New York State overturns it?
If you take a knee in a fight and touch down while punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown, Hearn said. I heard people saying he should be disqualified because he went back to his corner. I don't buy that. I think that's just a warning. But it was definitely a bizarre situation. The New York State Athletic Commission's review is still ongoing, with no final decision announced yet. Lost in the aftermath of Saturday's PBC pay-per-view in Brooklyn was the impact of referee Steve Willis's missed knockdown call. That moment cost Lamont Roach Jr. not only the WBA lightweight title, but also what would have been a massive upset over Tank.
You know something funny? When we was talking in the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking shit, right? but he like, you ain't gonna win.
Roach, a former amateur rival of Tank, should have been the headline story after handing the minus 1,600 betting favorite the first blemish of his pro career in their controversial majority draw at Barclays Center. Instead, attention shifted to the New York State Athletic Commission, which lacked transparency in the immediate aftermath. On Monday, the commission claimed a technical issue prevented them from reviewing the instant replay footage in time. By failing to call Tank's voluntary knee in the 9th round a knockdown, Roach lost out on a 10-8 swing that would have given him the win. That decision also cost Roach millions, as he would have entered their inevitable rematch as the defending champion.
Say, why not? What you talking about? They like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how boxing works.
The New York State Athletic Commission has told multiple outlets that it's still reviewing the situation. But one major question remains unanswered. What was going on with Tank? It was shocking to see the 30-year-old Baltimore native struggle against such a massive underdog after years of dominance. But the biggest surprise wasn't just the fight itself, it was how Roach looked in the ring. After moving up to lightweight, Roach appeared to be the bigger fighter. He carried himself with confidence and used the experience he gained from growing up in the same boxing circles as Tank to deliver the best performance of his career.
It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not, like, totally upset. I figured with a superstar.
The biggest questions revolve around Tank's mindset and the strange behavior he displayed before, during, and after the fight. Was this just an off night for one of boxing's pound-for-pound best, or has he lost the fire that made him such a dominant force? Star fighters showing up late to media events isn't new, especially for Tank, who arrived nearly 2 hours late to his 2023 press conference with Ryan Garcia. But this time, he took it to another level, showing up nearly 4.5 hours late to his first media event with Roach in New York, and then arriving 90 minutes late to last Friday's weigh-in. Tank was his usual playful self during fight week, but his actions inside the ring raised concerns. Twice during the first half of the fight, he took his eyes off Roach to argue with referee Steve Willis, only to get caught with clean punches in return.
Don't get too much on paper, but shit, I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him, I was like, oh, they gonna give me a...
Prime video cameras caught more strange moments from Tank, including him yelling over CalvinFord's advice in the corner, repeatedly shouting, "Listen to me," between rounds. Then came the controversial moment in round 9. After Roach landed a series of jabs, Tank began blinking his left eye aggressively, turned his back, and took a knee. He immediately got up and ran to his corner, where Ford wiped his eye with a towel, something that, under the rules, could have led to a disqualification. Referee Steve Willis started the mandatory 8 count but stopped at 3, issued a warning, and allowed the fight to continue, avoiding what could have been a career-altering moment for Davis.
Didn't win. I was like, oh, you. I was like, oh, shit, here it comes. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with.
Davis's explanation in the post-fight interview was strange, and his attitude didn't reflect the seriousness of almost losing his title and unbeaten record. As the crowd booed him, it was hard to tell if he was embarrassed or just uninterested. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in my, so that was coming into my face when I was sweating, and it burned my eyes," Davis said. "Damn, why are y'all booing? Like I'm saying, these are real facts. Come on, man, look at my hair. I just got my _ done. But it's all cool, man. You know how they get. They love you, then they hate you, then they turn around and love you again."
So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
Davis, who has a mandatory rematch clause in his contract and expressed interest in it on social media Monday, seemed more humble while discussing his performance at the post-fight press conference. However, his comments also revealed a lack of awareness regarding the rules. "Nobody likes a draw from a guy who gets knockouts and things like that, but it's cool," Davis said. "I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have done more. I was lost and lost track of the rounds. That's why we need ring girls. I didn't know what round it was. Facts."
No.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
I didn't want to get caught.
I didn't want to get caught while my eyes were burning. You can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee, But I didn't really know you could get disqualified for receiving mid-round corner assistance, Davis admitted. When Willis started counting, I was like, what the hell? But it's cool. While Davis has had competitive fights in recent years against opponents like current welterweight champion Mario Barrios and former 140-pound title holder Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz, his performance against Roach was his first noticeably flat showing since 2017. That year, on the undercard of the Floyd Mayweather vs. Conor McGregor superfight, Davis missed weight and lost his IBF 130-pound title on the scales. He was booed throughout an uneven fight against Francisco Fonseca, though he still managed to secure an 8th-round knockout. Since then, Davis has become a global star, and despite constant legal troubles making headlines, those issues never seem to impact his typically explosive performances in the ring, until now.
Wow. My eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that, so I'd rather take the knee than...
What made Davis's performance against Roach even more puzzling was the ongoing narrative surrounding his looming retirement. Leading up to the fight, Tank repeatedly hinted that his time in boxing was nearing its end, with 2025 potentially marking his final year in the ring. In a January interview with Inside Boxing Live, Davis opened up about his desire to step away from the sport to focus on his mental health and becoming a better father. "That's why I don't want to box anymore," he said. "I want to do therapy, but I feel like if I do, I'd lose the fire inside of me. I want everything out of me, so I never think about fighting again or even getting angry. I have 2 girls, and I want them to be much softer and more humble." For a fighter who built his career on aggression, power, and a killer instinct, his words suggested a shift in mindset, one that may have already begun affecting his performances in the ring.
But I didn't really know that you can, like, get disqualified for all that. Or, like, when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know.
It's all about being true to yourself. You just need to be true to yourself. Now, faking it, that's when it's like, when you know you don't want to do it and you continue to do it, that's something wrong. Davis's words reflect an internal battle that's bigger than any opponent he's faced in the ring. Wanting a more peaceful life for himself and his family is a noble reason to step away, but boxing isn't the kind of sport where you can be half in, half out. If your heart isn't in it, the consequences can be severe. There may be no more dangerous place to be when you no longer want to be there than inside a boxing ring, where every second tests not just your skill but your physical and mental endurance. And if Davis is truly at that crossroads, the outcome of his next fight, whether against Roach or someone else, will reveal just how much fight he has left in him.
The decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch, because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Davis remains one of the most dynamic and entertaining fighters boxing has seen in decades, and one-off night doesn't define a career. In a sport as unforgiving as boxing, fighters are often judged by their latest performance, for better or worse. But as the conversation shifts from the controversy surrounding Davis versus Roach to the anticipation of a must-see rematch, the real question is whether Tank is still fighting for the right reasons. If he returns with the right mindset and focus, he has every chance to remind the world why he's one of the most electrifying names in the sport.
Tank, how much does it hurt to have the draw on your record now? And do you think it's going to stand as some sort of like renewed motivation for you?
The rematch appears to be set in motion, but a major hurdle remains. The World Boxing Association must first decide whether the fight stands as a draw or is overturned into a loss. In the meantime, Gervonta Davis has work to do, particularly when it comes to addressing the issues within his corner. For the latest updates on boxing news, key moments, major events, and all the action, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our quality content. Until next time, peace out.